There we go. All right, jeez. Now hopefully people will be coming in. There we go. We got an excellent connection. Haha. Had to restart OBS. That was the problem with the getting it back up and running. Twitch seems to be having an issue now, but I'm more concerned about YouTube than Twitch. Let me just relaunch Twitch just to see, or just refresh. There's the Twitch stream. Dakota Dave got a couple minutes of Dude. I did see that Dude was streaming as well. Doesn't Dude know that I'm streaming now too? What's up, Alarasia? Good to see you. Hey, Dawn. Gotta love technical glitches. Glitches ain't shit, right? Of course. What's up, Marie? Now, what was I guess I could wait to... Oh, no. What was I saying about my cousin Vinny? Oh, I was saying about the fact that we got to take pictures in front of the sack of suds. Hey, Melissa from Australia. Aussie. We got to take pictures in front of the sack of suds. We ate dinner, or we watched. We took pictures in front of the courthouse, or the building that was the courthouse. We ate dinner at the restaurant where Vinny realizes that the tire tracks were off. So we did a whole bunch of my cousin Vinny sightseeing, just because my mom happened to move to about just an hour south of Atlanta, and it's maybe like 15 to 20 minutes south of the town where they did most of the filming of My Cousin Vinny, even though I think it was supposedly set in Alabama. So yeah, so it was fun to be able to get all of that stuff in, especially because of the fact that, you know, I'm such a big fan of the movie. Not a big fan of the fact that my mom moved to Georgia when she could have moved to New Orleans, but I guess now it might be better that she's there. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe had she moved here, things might have been different. Who knows? That's another topic for another day. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. Aaron managed to make it to level 7 on the Marvel game that I just pinned back again to the top of the chat during the live stream last night for Nerdy Dan. So both Aaron, myself, and my youngest son both got all the way to level 7 last night. I managed to get to level 20 today on that game too with my main account, and got to level 18 or something with a secondary account too. So it's a really easy game to level up in if you just do the simple trick of just using the auto win function that you have. It tells you how to auto win, and once it tells you how to auto win, you can just go with levels. So anyway, I didn't get a response to Aussie. I'm very disappointed. So I knew that Jeff meant that it wasn't buffering, not that he was in the buff. Although Jeff in the buff, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, so what's up, Wundermom? Wundermom, wunderbar, that wonderful, that Wundermom, or wunderbar, that Wundermom is in the Twitch chat. So anyway, we have lots of stuff to talk about today that we're actually going to get to talk about. Hopefully the interwebs won't crap the bed on us again, just like Blog Talk Radio crapped the bed earlier, because again, we're not on Blog Talk Radio tonight. Blog Talk Radio is failed yet again. Get what you pay for, right? So not worried about that too much. Hey, Andrea, good to see you. So let's see what else. There's the oi oi oi. I was waiting for it. I got 13 viewers and 9 likes, though. Make sure to smash that like button and then the patriarchy. Get those Al Gore rhythms. Again, remember, Al Gore needs rhythm. So smash the like to get Al Gore his rhythm. So several things to talk about. First and foremost, the first thing to talk about is we have Trump has agreed. Trump and whatchamacallit and Biden have agreed in principle to have debates. And I was like, holy crap. They originally were both saying that they weren't going to have debates. And now we're going to have debates. They've agreed to two debates. And yeah, we're going to be talking about Butker in a second. We'll be talking about Butthead. Harrison Butthead. Butker's pretty cool. Only person who would like Butker is probably Beavis. So there's going to be two debates. The first debate's going to be hosted on June 27th by CNN. And the second debate is going to be hosted on September 10th by ABC. So there's going to be the first presidential face-off to play out in just over a month. So June 27th. What day is June 27th? What day of the week is that? That is a Thursday. So it's very well possible that maybe I'll do a special episode of Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right, on that day to do a live reaction. Maybe, we'll see. Because although it's only on CNN, so if I air it, it's very well possible that CNN might be like, copyright violation. So it's possible I might do a Mystery Science Theater 3000 type thing, or where I don't actually stream it, but I might actually just do it. You watch it on your screen, I watch it on my screen, and I do commentary as they talk. That's probably what I'll end up doing so I don't get copyright flagged. But it's also possible that Hal might do the same thing, and I don't want to, redo the wheel, so it's possible I might just do a review of the debate on Monday. We'll see. But my point is, I find that I'm using everyone in this room is now dumber quote from Billy Madison these days a lot. Yeah. Egg off to a I hear you're free Wednesdays. Yeah, that's a great line that Biden used. But my thing is just that, all right, so we have the trial that's going on currently, and the defense is about to start, right? The prosecution is finishing up with its witnesses. You may have one more witness after Michael Cohen, just to kind of sum everything up and put a nice, pretty little bow on it. And then you'll have the defense. But the defense may or may not have a big defense. It probably might not have much of a defense, because a lot of the defense might have just been the cross-examination of the people that the prosecution brought up. And much of the defense might just be the closing statements. But who knows what who the defense might bring up? Maybe the defense will bring up maybe the defense will be stupid enough to put up Donald Trump on the stand, which I wish they would televise it at that point. I wish if Donald Trump gets on the stand, I'd be like, oh, this is just a shame that this is not going to be televised. But you could imagine that this is being the 15th, and we've got a month and a half until the first presidential debate. This trial could be over by that time. So now, granted, sentencing might not be over, might not be there, but you could have a guilty verdict by June 27th. Now, if you have a guilty verdict, will the judge say that Donald Trump is to be remanded into custody? Will the judge be like, well, I don't know if I could remand him into custody, or will we remand him into custody until sentencing takes place? You know, if he doesn't remand him into custody until sentence, if he doesn't immediately remand him into custody, does that mean that he's going to get special treatment so he can go to the debate? Will he have to debate from prison or jail or wherever he'll be held until the sentencing takes place? I mean, one would think that if anybody's a flight risk at that point, it's Trump. Or maybe Trump wants to sit in jail. Maybe he wants to sit in prison during that time. I don't know. Maybe he'll use the prison excuse as a way to get out of the debates. Get out of debate free card by going to jail, by going to prison. So, quick agreement on the timetable followed the Democrats' announcement that he would not participate in fall presidential debates sponsored by the nonpartisan commission that had organized them for more than 3 decades. Biden campaign instead proposed that media outlets directly organize the debates between the presumptive Democratic and Republican nominees. The debate is so unusually early that neither Biden or Trump will have formally accepted the party's nomination. Hours later, Biden said that he'd accepted an invitation from CNN, adding, "Over to you, Trump." Trump, who had insisted that he would debate Biden anytime, any place, said on Truth Social he'd be there, adding, "Let's get ready to rumble." So is Michael Buffer gonna sue Donald Trump for using his trademarked line, or does it have to go? Let's get. I don't know if I can say it. I don't want to get sued either. So they agreed to the second debate on ABC. Trump said he'll arrange his own transportation. Biden wrote on X, working in a jab about the perks of incumbency. "I'll bring my plane too. I plan on keeping it for another 4 years." The swiftness with which the matchups came together reflects how each of the 2 unpopular candidates think that he can get the better of his opponent in a head-to-head showdown. Trump and his team are convinced the debates will exacerbate voters' concerns about Biden's age and competence. Biden's team believes Trump's often incendiary rhetoric will remind voters why they voted him out of the White House 4 years ago. The presidential debate's always a critical moment of the political calendar. It could be particularly important because Biden's old and Trump's old too. Biden's 81 and Trump's 77. Sporadically on social media, the rivals traded barbs, each claiming victory the last time they faced off in 2020. The June debate is likely to cap a busy, unsettled stretch following likely conclusion to Trump's criminal hush money trial in New York, foreign trips by Biden to France and Italy, and the end of the Supreme Court's term, and the expected start of 2 criminal trials for Hunter Biden. CNN said the debate will be held at 9 p.m. Eastern in Atlanta studios with no audience present. In a break from precedent, moderators will be anchors Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. ABC did not offer details, but it said it would be moderated by David Muir and Lindsay Davis. The 2 campaigns and television networks had held weeks of informal talks. Biden's campaign have proposed excluding third-party candidates outright under the debate commission's rules. Kennedy or other third-party candidates would qualify if they secured ballot access sufficient to claim 270 electoral votes and polled at 15% or higher. Both CNN and ABC announced the same qualification threshold, saying candidates will need to reach at least 15% in 4 separate national polls of registered or likely voters to meet the standards. In response, Kennedy accused Biden and Trump of trying to exclude me from the debate because they're afraid I would win. No, they're not. Nobody's afraid that you'll win. They're just afraid that you're going to be a spoiler, and you were opposed to spoilers in 2000. So now you've changed your mind about being opposed to spoilers because now you're wanting to be the spoiler. So you're a hypocrite. I'm sorry, that's my old Hypocrite of the Week song when I used to use on terrestrial radio. I used to use Yakety Sax as my Hypocrite of the Week. Trump has been pushing for more earlier debates, arguing voters should be able to see the 2 men face off before early voting begins in September. He has proposed a debate outside the Manhattan courthouse where he currently is on trial. He has been taunting Biden with an empty lectern at some of his rallies. No other details on the rules of. Let's see. Biden's campaign has long held a grudge against the nonpartisan commission, accusing it of failing to evenly apply its rules during the 2020 Trump-Biden matchups, most notably when it didn't enforce COVID testing rules on Trump and his entourage, which was actually 100% pure, utter bullshit on their part. The debate should be conducted for the benefit of American voters watching on television at home, not as entertainment for an in-person audience with raucous or disruptive partisans and donors. There was little lost love with the Commissioner for Trump, who objected to technical issues at the first debate with Hillary Clinton and was upset when a 2020 debate with Biden was canceled after the Republican came down with COVID. Trump campaign issued a statement on May 1st that the debate schedule offered by the commission was unacceptable. So there you go. So we have 2 scheduled debates between Trump and Biden. And again, my biggest concern over this is just, I'm just wondering what happens if Trump is found guilty before the debate. Like, will he have to then debate from prison? Will he have to cancel the debate? That's just going to make things very interesting. See, here's my prediction. Trump will back out and claim some sort of gag order, maybe. According to Stormy, Trump doesn't have enough for a gag order. Chris, Trump has actually agreed to those dates, yes. And yes, he has already gotten very special treatment, even though he's claiming he's being treated very unfairly. He's being treated more fairly than anybody else. Everybody else gets treated unfairly compared to how Donald Trump's been treated. Trump's not going to have a crowd to feed off of. I'm not aware of any poll that said Donald Trump won any of those debates either. I mean, Joe Biden cleaned his clock, proverbially, in those debates. So, Dr. Pepper, that's what we call it now. Yeah. Wonder Mom, I just come over from MT Legal AF. Sorry, I crashed the party. That's fine. You can crash all you want. We'll make more. Wait, that's the wrong thing. Next thing to talk about is before we get to Harrison Butker. Yeah, everybody underestimates Joe Dark Brandon. I mean, he's been on the ball at so many things that he has been on the ball about. For example, State of the Union, when he came out and everything was all red, that one speech he gave, the correspondence dinners that he's given speeches at, he's been amazing at all of these things, and people don't want to see it. Like, even the off the cuff comment where, excuse me, what was it, the Fox News guy was like, do you want to comment about your mental deficiencies or whatever? And Joe Biden was like, well, they must be true because apparently I keep letting you ask me questions. I'm like, ooh, snap. Like, that was cold-blooded. So, anyway, but before we talk about Harrison Butthead, I do want to talk about Senate Bill 189 in Georgia. So we were told about the law in Iowa allowing for challenges. Now, we now have a rule. Now on page 116, or this line 169. Section 5. Said chapter is further amended by revising subsection B of code, section whatever, relating to challenge of persons on list of electors by other electors, procedure, blah, 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 blah. Upon the filing of such challenge, the Board of Registrars shall immediately consider such challenge, determine probable causes of challenges shall include, but not be limited to, an elector who is deceased, elector voting or registering to vote in a different jurisdiction, elector obtaining a homestead exemption in a different jurisdiction, or an elector being registered at a non-residential address as confirmed or listed or in a government office, database, website, or publicly available sources derived solely from such governmental sources. If a challenged elector's name appears on a national change of address database as maintained by the USPS as having changed his elector's residence to a different jurisdiction, the presence of such elector's name on such database shall be insufficient cause to sustain the challenge, blah, blah, blah. Any challenge of an elector within 45 days of a primary, runoff primary election or runoff election shall be postponed until the certification of such primary election or runoff is completed. Any challenge of an elector who is determined to be eligible pursuant to the residency determination shall be deemed insufficient. Any challenge of an elector that occurs during a primary general election shall continue through the primary runoff or runoff of such primary general election. But basically, in Georgia, let's see, Georgia law on challenging registration. Georgia Code 212-30 states that a voter can challenge another voter's eligibility to vote in writing, specifying the grounds for the challenge. The Board of Registrars must then consider the challenge and determine if there is probable cause to sustain it. If the board finds probable cause, they must notify the poll officers of the challenged elector's precinct. If the challenged elector appears at the polling place to vote, the board must conduct a hearing to determine the merits of the challenge. If the board denies the challenge, the elector can vote. Election officials are required to set the hearing within 10 business days after the receipt. So, and I think that they changed the law from 2022 to 2024 to state Senate Bill 189 and passed in April 2024 makes it easier to submit eligibility challenges to a county's election board. The bill makes challenges to voter eligibility easier, clarifying things that are already law, and also phases out ballot QR codes. Basically, it used to be that you have to live in the municipality of the person who you're challenging. Now, if you live in the state of Georgia, like the Iowa law was, you had to live in the county. I think it was the county, or even maybe the precinct. I think it was the county of the person whose registration you were challenging. Now in Georgia, I think you can challenge anybody in the state. So you could just get together and have little parties and like go over voter registration laws and be like, I think this person is no longer qualified to vote because of X, Y, and Z. And I'm found this person's name on the national voter register of voter, change of address list, and it matches this person's name, and they're very similar. So therefore, I think that person has changed their address and therefore should be disqualified. And then the people who are working the election boards be like, oh, well, that person's a Democrat, so let's just go ahead and say yes. Because that's what they do. That's what Republicans have been doing since at least 2000, if not before, is that they like taking people with similar sounding names, especially black voters with similar sounding names, and saying, okay, well, you have this person who is a felon, and this person whose name sounds a lot like this person's name, and they cast a wide net. And when they cast a wide net, they are pretty much guaranteed to get a whole bunch of false positives. And they just threw all the registrations out. So when people went to go vote, in 2000, we didn't have provisional ballots at the time. So therefore, they didn't get to vote. So it is imperative, especially if you live in states that have laws such as this, especially if you live in Iowa, especially if you live in Georgia, especially if you live in any other state that has this type of law that allows for these types of challenges, to get out and check to see if first of all, you have to get it and vote. Second of all, you need to make sure that before you vote, that your name has not been removed from the list, because they're technically required to let you know. But isn't DeJoy still running the mail? We haven't been able to yeet DeJoy from the Postal Service yet, so there's no guarantee that DeJoy's going to get you that mail on time. You're not going to be able to potentially see it if they flub it up. So you have to take the onus and the responsibility on your hands, on your shoulders, to make sure that you're registered with enough time to go re-register just in case. Oh, I screwed up, didn't I? Thank you, Aaron. Hey, Jolie, good to see you. Let's see. Boo. Chris, look at what had been done under his watch. He started off by keeping Trump's 2000 stimulus payment. Trump only gave $600. Biden gave $1,400. That was just for starters. When people say that voting doesn't matter, they're ignoring 150 years of dirty tricks to prevent citizens from voting. Exactly. I mean, you had situations. I mean, all you have to do is look at this series, my video series about that. My video series on voting and the GOP's attempts to make voting. See, let's go to my channel. Go to my playlists. Because these 4 videos, or maybe 5 videos at this point. Let's just turn off the video just in case it auto plays. I think it's just the GOP coup is what it's called. Not stop the coup. I need to delete the stop the coup one because I haven't been doing that much anymore because I don't know. I think those people might have been scammers. I don't know. Let's see. Where is that? Funny stuff. Interviews. No labels, bits, headlines, debates. Scroll left. Sparks 6. Living life as. Is it stop? It's not stop the coup. GOP coup series. There it is. There we go. That's the YouTube. That is the GOP coup series that I was talking about. I'm not going to pin it because I have the other video up there, but if you want to watch that later, that goes into the details of some of the dirty tricks that the GOP has used to try and prevent people from voting. And Wonder Mom also in Twitch has shared a good link as well to check your voter registration and register, etc. So Jolie, I have really been on a bender today. Been drinking since 11. Just got home, and you didn't come get me. That's not fair. Anyway, but yeah, the Georgia is just up to more shenanigans, up to no good, etc., etc. So here's the Harrison Butker. I think I once had him on my fantasy football team. I don't think he did well for me. So, what has he done? What did he do in his speech to Benedictine College, a Catholic school in Kansas, where he was critical of Joe Biden, etc. Told women where he thought their place should be, etc. According to Forbes, these are the key facts from his speech. He bemoaned the erosion of traditional Catholic values in daily life, claiming things like abortion in vitro fertilization, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as growing support for degenerate cultural values in media come from the pervasiveness of disorder. He criticized Biden for proclaiming his Catholic faith while being delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally, accusing the president of making it appear that you can be both Catholic and pro-choice. Well, you can. Butker told the women in the class that they'd been told diabolical lies about pursuing careers, and that his and his family's success is a result of his wife's focus on being a wife and mother, claiming that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and a mother. Granted, the fact that I'm sure she's able to be a stay-at-home mom and be a stay-at-home mother and a housekeeper or whatever, simply because of the fact that he works as somebody who plays for the NFL. Let's see. Harrison Butker salary. Harrison Butker signed a 5-year, $20 million contract with the Kansas City Chiefs, including a $3.5 million signing bonus. 9.1 of that is guaranteed, with an average annual salary of $4 million. Now, granted, if the signing bonus is 3.5 and the guaranteed is 9.1, I don't know if the 3.5 is included in 9.1. Let's just say that it is. So 9.1 million of it is guaranteed. So he has $9.1 million guaranteed over 5 years. Most people don't make that over the course of their careers. So he has plenty of money so that his wife can stay at home. Not everybody has that choice or option. But yes, he's going to be talking about the diabolical lives of the women who have just gone to a 4-year college, to study for some career that they're going to probably want to use this degree for. I mean, I can imagine how many eyes were rolling in the middle of that speech. He accused world leaders of pushing dangerous gender ideologies onto the youth of America, praised the students at Benedictine for embracing the religion with pride, but not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it. Haha, you're so funny. Also criticized the Catholic Church and bishops and priests for misleading the flocks by prioritizing familiarity with their parishioners instead of being teachers, quoting Taylor Swift, girlfriend of teammate Travis Kelce, by saying, "Familiarity breeds contempt." The speech was largely criticized on social media and prompted a Change.org petition calling for him to be released from the Chiefs. And Forbes actually gives an entire listing of his actual entirety of his speech, and I really don't feel like reading the entire thing. I think the synopsis is good enough, but holy crap, like, it's just, like, get over yourself. Yes, yeah, I know we have freedom of speech, and yes, it's at a Catholic college, and yes, these people made the choice to go to a Catholic college, fine, but how much more can you vomit? And then I don't have a problem with people who choose to be stay-at-home moms. If that's your choice and you can afford to do it and everything, whatever, that's fine. There are people who actually like living the 1950s lifestyle or what have you. That's fine if that's the type of home you want to live in. If you do want to have a single income with the mom, being a trad wife or whatever. I don't know. But most people can't afford that crap. Most people need to, have 2-income families, at least 1.5, in order to survive. Most people can't live his ideals. And to many people, his ideals aren't ideals at all. So, let's see. Let me just do one thing. And I'm going to search another thing too. Oh well. I was trying to see because Taylor Swift is worth $1.1 billion and the Chiefs are worth $4.3 billion. So it's not like Taylor Swift could just use her wealth and buy the Chiefs and then use that to just, then fire Harrison Butker. She doesn't have enough money to do that, unfortunately. Um, but I guess, if Harrison Butker gets upset that people don't like what he has to say as it pertains to what a women's position is or should be, I guess he just needs to shake it off. Shake it off. Hey, hey, shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Yeah, Wonder Mom. At one point, I was homeschooling grades 1, 7, and 10 while going to school full time myself and working full time, hence the name Wonder Mom. That is Wonder Mom. You are a superhero. Um, but yeah, I mean, just I know people who think like this and who just they think they're morally superior to you just simply because of the fact that they have full on embraced their faith, so you should embrace their faith too. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you. No, screw you. That's why I kind of, you know, I I don't have with Judaism is like Judaism isn't an evangelical religion. So like we basically say, as long as you're a good person, we don't care if you don't jump through all of our hoops that Jews are supposed to follow through. Now, I mean, I don't follow all the hoops because I just yesterday I had seafood. Crab isn't kosher, crawfish aren't kosher, shrimp aren't kosher, bacon's not kosher. I'm a bad Jew, but still, I appreciate the fact that the religion in which I was raised is not evangelical, does not say that you're going to burn in hell of all eternity, does not proselytize, does not do what this dude does. Now, there was actually some guy earlier on some video I was watching, some live video, where he was actually talking about like trying to convince people to be Jewish. And I'm like, but Judaism's not an evangelical religion. Why are you doing this? And he was like, well, it doesn't say you can't. I'm like, yeah, but it's not one. He was like, but if I see a movie that I like, I'm going to tell people how much I like the movie. So if there's a religion I like, why should I tell people how much I like the religion? I'm like, sure. You can tell people how much you love being Jewish, but that doesn't mean you should try to convince them to convert. Because again, that's not the point of Judaism. Anyway, Jeff Curry, electrolytes, it's what plants crave. That's right, Brondo. Brondo, it has electrolytes. It's what plants crave. What's up, TK? Good to see you. The most often question I've encountered when I told people that I homeschool is, how can you stand being around your kids 24/7? Well, a lot of people probably had to deal with that during the pandemic. I mean, I actually like my kids. I mean, sometimes they get on my last damn nerves, but I, like my kids and I enjoy spending time with my kids. It's I feel sorry for people who don't like their kids. So it's a shame that people don't like their children. I also think I raised pretty good kids. Well, me and my wife raised pretty good kids. I think there was something else on my wall that I wanted to talk about. I don't remember what exactly it was. There was that. Oh, today happened to be the anniversary. This is great. Um, this was like way back in 2019, in the pre-pandemic times. Um, there was a conversation that I have it, and I called it. I shall call this a conversation with an idiot in blue. and I was having a conversation about abortion, and my post that I made was my typical argument that I make whenever I'm discussing abortion is, how do I know that you don't value an embryo the same as a born child? Put yourself in a room. On your right is a newborn infant in a cart that can roll around. On your left is a freezer on a cart with 1,000 frozen embryos. The building catches fire. You can only have time and the ability to save one cart. Which cart do you roll for safety? And this person goes, that scenario's ridiculous. Person's like, well, why would embryos be frozen? If you freeze embryos, it's essentially dead. And I was like, and then he's like, and he goes, you can't freeze embryos. How can you freeze human beings? And I'm like, you want to bet? How much? I'll bet you $10,000 you can freeze embryos and use them later. And dude's like, how can they do that? How can you freeze a fertilized human child? That's mad science. And someone else linked to a link about, people that, where people have frozen embryos. And the person's like, so the babies are froze? WTF? And he's like, I don't understand how you can freeze an embryo and unfreeze it, and it's stuck. It could still be alive. And I'm like, and the person's like, because someone else is like, because it's not alive, and that's what we've been trying to effing tell you. And the person's like, but once it's fertilized, it's a living being with a heart. And this is the type of idiots that we're dealing with when it comes to abortion rights. And this person's like, embryos are fertilized, Thomas. They don't have hearts yet. They're collections of cells. This person's like, oh. He's like, that's weird. I don't like thinking about it. It hurts my head. And my response was, well, maybe since you don't understand this science, you might be able to admit that you don't understand enough of the science pertaining to reproduction to have been able to form a valid opinion about the issue of abortion. And this post got so many views. It got over 1 million views that I had to turn on two-party authentication on Facebook, because they're like, you need to be able to prove that you're you because you're getting so many views. That was when I thought my podcast was initially going to take off, because I'm like, I have to take off. If I'm getting 1 million views on this post, this has to be it. And then it was crickets from that point on. So, oh yeah, I'm also doing a Planned Parenthood fundraiser for my whatchamacallit, on Facebook. For my birthday as well. I'll share that in the chats as well. I appreciate you, Dakota Dave. I know y'all are with me. And ever since Hal, the show has taken off, so I appreciate Hal as well. Yeah, Chris, exactly. After having multiple miscarriage, life does not begin at conception. Clearly. I mean, we had two. As we had two of them. Clearly, it's not. Conception is not a guarantee. There are a non-trivial number of embryos that are created and discarded before it even implants to the uterine wall. So, but yeah, it's just the amount of people who want to have an opinion on this whole thing, who refuse to actually want to understand science, is just, it should be shocking to anybody, but at this point, it's not. At this point, we're just used to the idea that people are going to be, people are just going to be rejecting science on everything. Jeff with the callback. Be right back, Dr. Pepper. Well played, Jeff. Well played. That's hilarious. So, anyway. Aaron caught it too. That's good. So, show reset, Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Life, that's right. Normally Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central here on YouTube, which is the YouTube link is just liberaldanradio.com, or twitch.tv/liberaldanradio, Liberal Dan Radio on Facebook, on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, etc. If you want to support the show, just make sure to subscribe, like, share videos. YouTube, I have a whole bunch of videos to share and watch and comment on, engage with people, like comments, share videos, get the algorithms going. The best way currently for the next 6 days, is it 6 days or 7 days? 7 days. 6 days and 23 hours. The best way to get them, if you do want to spend money on the show and support the show, the best way to get the most bang for your buck is to download the game, the Marvel Strike Force game, and if you buy the $19.99 purchase, I think it can be any purchase that's $19.99, but if you do buy the Power Cores pack, if that's what you buy, that's what they recommend. You get that, and I get $45 for the first 20 users who do that. So a $19.99 purchase in game gets me $45. You know, buying $20 of super stickers probably gets me about $10. You know, sending me $19.99 via Venmo gets me $19.99. Doing, you know, there's no other way to get me $45 for $19.99. So if you want to do it, that's the best way to get the most bang for your buck. Now again, if you can't afford to spend money on the show, I don't need you to. I don't want you to. I don't want you to spend any money on me that you can't afford. You can still download the game and play it for free. Level 7, 20, and 30. You can get there. I'm at level 20. I didn't have to spend a single penny to get there, and that gets level 20 gets me 25, additional 30, so it's 55 total. If you get to level 30, if you get to level 30 and you buy that, it's $100. And if 20 people do that, it gets me $2,000. So it would be awesome if everybody could jump in and play the game, but I understand that not everybody has the time. So, 3 girls, 3 O's, damn, just got here. Hi, bye. I don't know, maybe. We'll see. Oh, Lord. Adlo, him. What are your chat rules? Don't be a dick. That's my chat rules. Don't be a dick. Especially don't be an anti-Semite. And Aaron West, that's exactly what I was going to say. I didn't say always agree. That's not what I said. I said don't be a dick. You can disagree without being disagreeable. You can disagree with the point being made without being an a-hole. And that applies to everybody. But, you know, was that a rule before or post West? That was the rule. I'm not even talking about West. This is about the other banned person who we all know. What if you donate? I've banned somebody who used to be a patron, and I refunded that person. I banned a patron and refunded him 3 months of contributions. Adlo. Because I was tired of the person being harassing, so I banned the person, and the most I could refund via Patreon was 3 months of contributions. So I refunded 3 months of contributions, and I was like, well, if I'm going to remove you from the show, I'm going to remove you from the show, but I'm not going to take your money either. So I'm going to refund the money to you as much as I can. So there you go. So why do I do what? Return money? Because if I kick you off and Do I not agree with the First Amendment? I'm not the government. I'm not the government. The First Amendment is a requirement on government to not restrict free speech. The if the First Amendment required me to if the First Amendment forced me to host other people's speech that I didn't want to have on the show, then that would be a violation of my free speech rights. It's as simple as that. I have no requirement to have people on show. Now, I have people on my show who I disagree with, to the point where I've had listeners who, when I've had those people on the show, they've disagreed with. Take Chad Bostic, for example. I had a conversation with Chad about ivermectin and about COVID and about a whole bunch of other stuff on Monday, and we had a very long conversation, and I think it was probably too long for some of the people who listen, but I wanted to continue the conversation, and I made my points, and at some point I cut him off, not because I wanted to stop him from talking, but because I wanted to move on to other topics before the show ran out, because I had other topics that I had planned to talk about that day. But, me and Chad agree about some things, and me and Chad disagree about some things, and we can have a civil conversation about things without resorting to insults, without resorting to whatever. And Chad doesn't go anti-Semitic like some people used to do before they were banned from the show. So I don't know, I think if you're an American on an open platform. What? All I see is people getting kicked off. You've seen 2 people get kicked off? What does what mean, Dan? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what you're typing. What's up, Trucker John? Good to see you, Trucker John. Why are you crying? Are you crying because of Aldo and his word salad? I mean, forgive me, but I'm Jewish and I don't want to be a platform for anti-Semites. I choose to not be a platform for anti-Semites, for people to not spread anti-Semitic drivel on my site, on my show. So what does what mean? You do not. What don't you understand, Adlo? And currently nobody can call into the show right now because Blog Talk Radio is crapped the bed yet again. So it's clear that Adlo is trolling, but I don't think Adlo has crossed a particular line yet. If Adlo crosses a line, I think Adlo knows what's going to happen, because I believe Adlo is somebody else. But, it is what it is. Anti-Semitic. What don't you understand about anti-Semitism? Anti-Semitism is promoting ideas that promote bigotry and hatred against Jewish people. So there are people who have said things on the show that have promoted hatred and bigotry against Judaism, and I have quickly shut them down. So, and I do not allow them to be on my show. I also do the same things about people who say things about who are anti-trans, and if you're going to be hateful, bigoted, etc., you have no place on my show. We can talk about other issues. We can talk about things that pertain to, economics and other things that are hotbeds of discussion, abortion rights, without resorting to sexism, racism, bigotry, anti-Semitism, homophobia, anti-trans, etc. Aldo is my father. He's kind of weird. Is that like Darth Vader? Is that like Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker relationships? Adlo. So any views that are critical of a Jew? No, you can criticize Jewish. I've been criticized. You can criticize Jewish people, you just can't criticize people because, you just can't be, it's not just about not their Jewishness. For example, if you want to criticize Benjamin Netanyahu for his actions that he's taken place after 10/7, you're free to do so. If you want to criticize Bernie Sanders if you disagree with his politics, you're free to do so. If you want to criticize me for my politics, you're free to criticize my politics. You're free to do so right here. We can have a debate. You can disagree with my politics. You can criticize me, as long as you're not doing it because I'm Jewish, or because Bernie Sanders is Jewish, or because Netanyahu is Jewish. It's not about as long as you're doing the criticism based off of the belief and not based off of who the person is. Why is that so difficult to understand? I read ramen has rat hair fibers in it. Well, there's the Book of List, Aaron, that allows all foods to have certain amounts of fibers, certain amount of things in it. Like, I think we covered a little bit of the Book of Lists earlier in a previous show. Like, chocolate can have a certain amount of rat hairs or rat poop or whatever in it, and it still be okay for consumption because it's not over a certain amount. And reading the Book of Lists just makes you not want to eat at all. It is gross. Let's pull that up again. I like finding random things about the... Let's see. Book of Lists. What can be in food? My favorite lists from the Book of Lists. Oh, he's not listing the actual lists. He's not saying what they are. 8 cases of spontaneous combustion, 7 remarkable messages in a bottle, Norris McWhirter's 12 best reference books in the world, 8 remarkable escapes from Devil's Island, Dr. Demento's 10 worst songs the titles of all time, 10 subordinalap palindromes. Nice. But that's not what we're looking for. FDA legal amounts of rat hair in food. There we go. The FDA allows up to 9 rodent hairs in a 16-ounce box of pasta, 3 maggots in a 28-ounce can of tomatoes, and 136 intact insect fragments, and 4 rodent hairs in a jar of peanut butter. It doesn't say how big of a jar of peanut butter it is. I'm assuming a standard, regular Jiffy-sized jar, not like a mini one. The FDA also allows up to 1 or more rodent hairs per 100 grams of peanut butter and 30 insect fragments per 100 grams. The FDA also allows rodent hair in other foods, allspice and nutmeg up to 1 hair per 10 grams, ground cinnamon up to 11 rodent hairs per 50 grams, tomato paste up to 3 rodent hairs per 100 grams. I wonder why the difference. Other foods that may contain rodent hair include popcorn, apple butter, chocolate, cocoa butter, cornmeal, and macaroni. For every 1/4 cup of cornmeal, the FDA allows an average of 1 or more whole insects, 2 or more rodent hairs, and 50 or more insect fragments, 1 or more fragments of rodent dung. Asparagus can contain 40 or more scary but looking but teensy thrips for every 1/4 pound. If those aren't found, FDA inspectors look for beetle eggs, entire insects, or heads and body parts. Frozen or canned spinach is allowed to have an average of 50 aphids, thrips, and mites. If those are missing, the FDA allows larvae of spinach worms or 8 whole leaf miner bugs. Apologies to those on the West Coast who are about to eat dinner. Don't forget the spices. Dismembered insects can be found in many of our favorite spices. Crushed oregano, for example, can contain 300 or more insect bits and about 2 rodent hairs for every 10 grams. To put that in context, a family-sized bottle of oregano is about 18 ounces or 510 grams. Paprika can have up to 20% mold, about 75 insect parts, and 11 rodent hairs for every 25 grams, just under an ounce. A typical jar holds 2 or 3 ounces. So at 2 or 3 ounces, you can have 33 rodent hairs in there. Now you might be asking, just how do they count those tiny insect heads and pieces of rodent dung? I'm not asking that at all. I really don't want to know. Out of sight, out of mind. I really don't need to know about anti-Semitic. You might need to learn about English. Much more dangerous are foodborne illnesses such as salmonella, listeria, and E. coli, which can severely sicken and even kill. Cross-contamination from raw food, undercooking food, and hand washing, and spreading germs from raw food. Those are things that contribute to more than 48 million cases of foodborne illnesses that we have every year. Put it that way, I guess my disgust over rodent poop in my coffee seems overblown. Of course, you know, there is, of course, the coffee that comes from poop, that where they, you know, they ferment the coffee in the monkey poop or the cat poop or whatever it is. But I think we talked about that too. We don't need to review that or whatever. I need to have some sushi. I feel better about my cats in the kitchen with me. Yeah, exactly. Well, if they kill the rats or the mice, you know, they might get to you. They might get to you before they put any more rat hairs into your food. That's a good thing, right? And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man in the moon. There are no See, my problem is we have 3 cats, and one of the cats loves to bring us the bugs. That's the problem. I woke up with a gigantic, like, palmetto bug roach type thing crawling on my back because the cat brought it to me, and I was not happy. There was a period of 3 months in my life where I could not even hear the name sushi, or the word, I say the name sushi, the word sushi, without feeling just, ugh, because it was like March of that year, and we went to this place called Cafe Zen here in New Orleans, or in the outskirts of New Orleans, and later that day or the next morning, I turned like 3 different shades of Hulk green, and I was just vomiting. I probably should have gone to the emergency room. I was that bad. I never did. I think I lost at least 10 pounds, and it had to have been the sushi. And every time somebody said the word sushi, it just made me just be like, oh, I couldn't handle it for 3 months. Like, and the worst part about it is my dog's name was Sushi. That was my dog's name at the time, was Sushi. So everyone was like, come here, Sushi. I'd be like, oh, just say dog. Just say come here, dog, or come here, puppy. Just say dog for the time being until I'm over this whole thing. But it was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. And they've moved locations. I don't even know if they've changed owners yet. And I don't even know what I ate that made me, because nothing tasted off. It just, something was off, and it just made me just, it was awful. I was terrible. And then finally, like 2 or 3 months afterwards, I don't know if it was February or March, but it got around time to my birthday, and we went to karaoke and sushi for my birthday, and I was finally able to have sushi again and enjoy myself. So now I can have sushi again. Well, it's not that I. It's not that I. That wasn't about offering me sushi. It was about. It was about my dog's name being sushi. That was the problem. I can have sushi now. I'm craving sushi. Actually, well, not right now because I'm full. But like I've been craving sushi recently. Like I'm back to being able to have sushi. But there was about a good 2-3 months, a few years back, where I was just like, ugh, awful. I am gonna look into the intermittent fasting thing because it probably would fit into my current eating schedule anyway. So, and the one thing about the place I was talking about, Jeff Curry, name your dog Tax whenever you open the door. Income tax. Just don't name your dog Stains. But yeah, so but yeah, I should look into the intermittent fasting diet because a lot of the times I do find myself eating that schedule anyway. It's just, you know, the times around that where I probably might eat things that beyond water. So only black coffee, water, and unsweet tea, or non-sweetened tea. If you're a House Sparks fan, non-sweetened tea. Um, what if you don't like black coffee or non-sweetened tea? Can you just have the water? I guess. Um, what about can you have tea that has artificial sweetener in it, or does it have to be purely non-sweetened? Nope, non-sweet. Okay, I'll look into it and consider it. We'll see. Plain tea. Whatever you want for the 8. Whatever I want, eh? Well then. Heyo. Anyway, Jeff should have some good thoughts about that one, I would think. I'm having Jeff, where's the unsweetening machine? Exactly. How do they remove the sweetener from the tea to make it unsweetened? I do miss me some good chicken fried steak though. I can't find me a good chicken fried steak anywhere in this city right now, and it's terrible. Terrible, I say, terrible. Anyway, so I am probably gonna end the show now because I do need to work on my mother-in-law's maybe final state taxes because they're due today. I already did the federal taxes, but I haven't done state taxes. So, and they're due by midnight tonight. Um, anyway, so again, just to remind everybody, no show Monday because of my birthday. If you want to do something great for my birthday, download the game, play it, and get up to level 30 for free, and even buy the 1999 pack of the cores or whatever, and that'll get me $100 per person for up to 20 people, and that would be pretty darn awesome. But if you have a question as to whether or not there's still credit to get me there, I'll let you know. If you just email me, I'll check my email every now and then or whatever. But Tuesday I'll be on Nerdy Dan. Wednesday I'll be back as normal for Liberal Dan Radio. Otherwise, the only time I'll be back if there is something special. If there is something big that happens, I'll obviously post something on Twitter and on YouTube, like a post just to say, hey, I'm going to come on and talk about this special big thing. But otherwise, that should be it. So thank you everybody else for joining, and there's no normal outro because there's no Blog Talk Radio. So thank you very much for everybody joining. Have a good night. Peace.